Hello, Bonita Bay Club. Justin Smith, one of your PGA teaching professionals here. Today, here I am in a greenside bunker, and I want to talk about firm versus soft bunker shots. Now, I've had a lot of questions about this lately of maybe the speed to deliver, a little bit of setup, what club to use, etc. Today, let's start with the soft, or let's say more sand bunker shot. I would suggest using a little less lofted club, so something of a sand wedge if you have a lob wedge. And what we need to remember here is, bounce is sort of your friend on this one. Now, if you don't know anything about bounce, we'll talk about that later on. But I want you to understand that the more you open a club, the more it adds bounce to the club. And most of the time, sand wedges will have more bounce than lob wedges. Most of the time. I mean, obviously, it's relative to kind of what you deliver to impact. But what I want you to do on these soft bunker shots, or more sand, is basically this needs more speed than a firm bunker shot. As you can see, sort of I raked that there, lesser sand. So you're going to need a little bit more speed here, and you're going to need a little bit more shallower angle of attack. So we definitely don't need this club working very vertical up and down to this shot. We want to feel it sort of gliding through the sand, kind of that old video back in the day of, just kind of swoop that $1 bill out, but we like $100 bills, so here you go. Now, when we set up to this, we've talked about it before, getting our hands lower, nose over the ball. I've got the sand wedge slightly open, and we need a little more speed here for it to come out probably the distance desired. Now, I didn't swing very hard at that, but the reason why is because when we switch clubs to, let's say, a lesser loft from a lob wedge to a sand wedge, it's probably going to come out faster. So we need to be mindful of that. So make sure you get your setup, nose over the ball. We're going to be a little bit more shallower, so we're going to maybe work this around our body, maybe hitting those kind of like draw feels, as opposed to what you're going to see here in a second with a more firm bunker shot here. So I hope everybody enjoyed that one. Now we're going to get into the firm bunker shot. So here's my man here, Hudson, and he's going to show me, because I've got, it rains here in Florida. Now, I pretty much rake this down and pat it down so it can be as firm as possible. And he's going to make it even worse. So go ahead and show me how you're going to do that. Oh my goodness, I have a bunch of water now. So, you always go out and play on, after rain delays, or, you come in for 2 holes and you get in the bunker and it looks not exactly like this, but it's going to be kind of compact sand and lesser. I've chosen my lob wedge. It has a lower bounce than my sand wedge. This requires a little less speed than my sand wedge, because what we're going to have to do is get the lead edge between the ball and the sand a little closer to it. So if you notice that if you take too much sand, it doesn't travel very far. Now the difference is going to be same setup, and you're going to feel the club work more up and down so the lead edge can get between the ball and the sand. You need a little less speed. Obviously, we know that this might be a little easier than most because we sort of made it a little artificial, but you get the idea. The idea is the more sand that you have, probably the more speed and the more bounce you need. The less sand you have, the steeper you need to get, and probably a little less speed. So if it rains, be careful with how much speed you have in the club selection. If it doesn't, obviously play it like the first one. So me and Hudson very much enjoyed our time with you today, and I hope you have an awesome summer.